Guys, the question is this. If I'm called to play sports, or if I'm called to do an exercise activity like run a triathlon or play football or do some mountain climbing, and I feel like it's my calling, is that a calling from me or is that a calling from God? The other question that surrounds this is, what's the will of God? Am I in the will of God when I'm playing sports? Because when I'm struggling and maybe I'm failing or I get injured and things aren't, or I keep losing the race or the game or whatever, is that actually the will of God? Now here's the really important thing you have to understand about sports. God cares deeply, heavily about every single person that's involved in that game. He wants everyone to be safe, and he cares about the well-being of them. But he doesn't care about them in the way you think he does. You see, when we think about God caring about us, we think he cares if we win. That's absolutely false. See, God cares about what he cares about, and ultimately what he cares about is good for you. Here's an example. In 2008, I got injured. My last game of my college career, I had ACL surgery. Well, I dropped a ton of rounds in the draft, right? And I was faced with a choice. Do I quit football or do I keep playing? Well, in that 8-month recovery, I grew in my relationship with God exponentially. See, God had a plan for that injury that was greater. Now, did I fall in the draft? Absolutely. Did I have a shorter career in the NFL? Maybe. I don't know. But what's important is that I was drawn closer to God. You see, the most important place you want to be is in the presence of God. That's it. So people ask, what's the will of God? You're standing in the will of God. The will of God is what you're doing now because God ordains everything that's happened. He's completely sovereign. So if you're asking if you're called to a sport, I would say if you're playing it, you are. People ask me that all the time. What do I want to do? What should I do with my life? What sport should I play? I said, well, what do you want to do, man? Do that. That's the will of God. And so people need to have more peace. Have some peace about yourself. What you're doing is what God wants you to do. And if you don't want to do it anymore, don't do it. Do something else. Stop complaining. Stop stressing. Stop worrying about all of these horrible things that may happen and whether or not I'm in the will of God. All that does is paralyze you and causes indecision. So get yourself together, get out there and do it, and have fun and stop worrying so much.